This is where normally a new .NET project starts. Installing SDK, waiting on NuGet, opening Visual Studio. What if I told you none of this has to happen first? Every .NET desktop tutorial, including most of mine, start the same way. Installing the SDKs, installing Visual Studio, waiting, and that's fine when you are building something real. It's a wall when you just want to test an idea, teach a concept in 5 minutes, or try XAML for the first time on a Chromebook that doesn't even run Windows. XAML.io is a free browser-based .NET IDE. So let me go ahead and launch XAML.io. So no sign up, no install. You get a drag and drop XAML designer. So if I go to controls over here and drag and drop a button, you can see it instantly adds to the designer. A real code editor here at the bottom and a in-browser compilation to WebAssembly. So if I click on the start, you can see the app has launched in the browser as a WebAssembly. So what you build actually runs right here in the tab. It's built by userware on top of OpenSilver, and OpenSilver, as you can see here in the GitHub repo, is an open source MIT licensed framework that renders WPF style XAML as real DOM elements in the browser. If you are interested in what its features are and how it works, you can check this repo out. I will leave a link to this in the description. So here's what we are building in the next few minutes. A quick tasks to do app built entirely with XAML data binding and C Sharp code behind. No paid controls, no third party UI kit. So let's start by building a new project. And in my previous section now, I showed you how we create a new project by clicking on this new button, and you can, and I also walked you through all the elements of this XAML.io IDE. So we will continue in the existing app so that we do not spend time writing the XAML, because the XAML stays the same and consistent throughout every ID, and the C sharp also stays the same. It's just the tool and how to use this tool is what we are going to focus on in this video. So XAML IO starts every new project with the same structure you already know from WPF: an app.xaml file with the startup URI and the main window.xaml. I can drag and drop controls from the toolbox, just like I explained in the previous section. And you can also directly type here in the XAML code. I have done a bit of both, so I will just show you the part where the autocomplete helps. So here, if I go to the bottom, and here you can see I can make some changes. For example, if I go and type padding, and here you can see I can hit on the tab, and you can see the autocomplete all helps, and also the IntelliSense predicts what the next property or the type would be. So that all of that works without any issues. So it's not just a stripped down toy editor, but it's an Monaco under the hood, the same engine that powers Visual Studio Code. Now, I won't go through the entire code here, because it is the same XAML code that runs everywhere. For example, Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio, so that does not change. The focus here is more on the IDE and not the code. So, but if you are interested in the code I will leave it in the description. You can download it from GitHub from my repository. Now, for the code behind, that is also pretty simple. So you have the button event handlers, and for the add, delete, and refresh buttons. So and the model file contains the properties like title is complete and so on. So that is pretty much it. And the next one that we need to talk about is, um, let's try to break something on purpose. For example, what if I type extra d over here in the background? So here you can see the IntelliSense. Let me change the view over here. So here you can see that the error immediately appears, as and when I make changes to the code, or if there are any errors. You can choose to fix the code here by clicking on the apply workaround, or you can click on this bulb icon just like Visual Studio and take the necessary fix options that it provides. You can also use AI to um, troubleshoot the error and fix it using AI. I will just click on this click to apply workaround button, and doing so will fix the error, and you can see the designer is now back again. As of version 0.6, XAML IO supports NuGet packages directly in the browser. Any package that targets .NET Standard or works with Blazor WebAssembly, so for example, JSON parsing, CSV handling, HTTP clients, just works. So here, if you see our app, you can right click, or you can click on this three dot icon and click on add NuGet package reference. And here you can see that these are the packages that are already installed, which are from OpenSilver. And then you can also go ahead and browse the packages, for example, MVVM, search. And here you can see it pops up, and then you can select this, select the desired version, and click on install. I won't wire up this full persistence in this video, but the hook is there. And if you want to take this app further yourself, I have kept the code link to the GitHub repository in the description. You can try it yourself, or you can try XAML.io for yourself and by creating a new project and adding the NuGet packages. Here's the part that matters most for the digital sovereignty. You are never locked into the browser. You can go to file and download the Visual Studio source solution, and this will help you download the whole source code as a zip file. And this download works as the same code, just like you have created a project in Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, running on the same open source open silver runtime that you can keep building locally forever for free. XAML.io is a ramp, not a walled garden. For example, if you go to this documentation, here you can see this beautifully explains how the ways you can use open silver. For example, if you want to try this with Visual Studio on Windows, you can install Visual Studio, of course, and then you can download the Open Silver extension VSIS package from this website, or you can also look in for this in the extensions and under tools, and you can download it. Once that is done, you can click on create a new project and search for Open Silver in the workloads, and there you can choose the target platform and click on continue, and that way you can create these open silver projects in Visual Studio. The next is using Visual Studio Code. Similar process where you can install an extension for Visual Studio Code, and then you can create a project. Or you can also use command line where you can install open silver templates and then create a new project. The last one is the XAML IO, where you do not need any installation, no SDK, no extensions, and no licenses. That's the beauty of using XAML.io, which I have just demonstrated. And you have to visit the XAML.io and create a new project in the browser by hand. Then finally, you can download the whole solution from the file menu. If this saved you an install, hit the subscribe button. I'm covering one free open .NET tool or framework every video. No paid libraries ever. And tell me in the comments what should I try building in XAML IO next. I'll build the top comments idea in the follow-up video. Hope you all liked watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye.